Welcome, everybody, back to another episode of Wire2Wire Sports Podcast. I'm the NFL genius, Gene Walzak, and in the upper left corner, he's to my left today. Penn State zone, Cleveland zone, college, Cuttrell.
Gene, how we feeling? It's August. The weather's starting to get a little bit chillier. It's still summertime, but like I can feel the weather starting to change. Like I feel like it was so hot here in Ohio, at least past couple weeks, we've been starting to get back down to earth. And for me, that just means one thing: football weather is going to be here soon, and I'm ready for it. How you feeling?
This is my favorite time of year. My favorite time of year. I don't like I don't say August. My favorite time of year is September, October. And I wish you could lock in September, October. Like I'm a hoodie guy. That's what I am. Upper right corner, Scholastic Shally, Uncle Shally, Mr. William Shallcross, the birthday boy himself. He's 53 years old today, gentlemen. I'm kidding.
Not that old. Not yet, anyway.
62
How you feeling tonight, Cal?
Good, great, big dub, and I echo what both you guys said. It's almost it's getting close to hoodies and short weather, and most importantly, it's getting close to football weather.
I love football. I absolutely love football. Everybody knows that. NFL genius. But it's not just that. I like Halloween. I like my birthdays in October. I'm turning 40 this year. By the way, if you're listening and you've not either received an invitation or started planning my surprise party, I'm only giving a couple more warnings. Like October is around the corner. You better have it ready. I will be very upset if they do. And I don't plan my own 40th. I'll plan 39. I'll plan 41. I'm not planning 40. That's for friends and family to do. And if you don't do it, you get it to me. Someone tagged my mom in the pub. Someone tagged Gloria Walzak in the goddamn chat. She better hear this. I'm just kidding. I love you. It was my mom's birthday 2 days ago. Also, RJ Kaler's wife, Ashley Kaler's birthday was yesterday. A lot of great people born in the beginning of August. It's an awesome thing.
It's a great month.
It's a great month. We got a lot to get into today. Ton to get into. A lot. My man CJ's already in the chat. What's up, CJ? Key's here. Jory's here. Chomping at the bit. My man Kyle Edwards is here. I'm fired up. I'm EA Sports. I'm in the game. We got Hotwire. Hotwire to get into. Cottrell, I'm going to pass you the rock, and you be like John Stockton and set us up.
I got you. So first things first here, WWE made some splash the past 4 or 5 days. WWE's been all up in the mix here. Of course, you had the first ever 2-night SummerSlam, which definitely wanted to get into with you guys here. But also, just as of today, actually, WWE's made a deal with ESPN to have their PLEs moving forward with ESPN in 2026, ending that Peacock deal. So of course, wanted to get your guys' reactions to SummerSlam, but also wanted to get your guys' thoughts on the deal with ESPN now and moving away from Peacock and having PLEs with the worldwide leader of sports.
Shall I have some really, really annoying thoughts on this? So I'll let you go first because I'm probably going to scream a little bit.
SummerSlam, I think in general, execution-wise, like the actual matches, I thought a lot of the matches were great. I didn't like a lot of the booking at all. I just feel like we're on this endless merry-go-round, and I'll get into it later. I think what?
That was my favorite part of SummerSlam. What you don't like?
Yeah, I don't. It's you can't make the product better when it's the same 4 or 5 things over and over. The whole John Cena thing didn't make any sense. I've voiced my opinions on Seth before, as much as I love him. It's in regards to the deal, though. I think it's a great deal for WWE. I mean, pretty much anybody who has cable now, if you have cable included, you're gonna be able to watch it. It's gonna be on way more TVs than it was before. I think for the people who don't, I think $30 is going to be steep. I'm going to be really curious to see how that works out. That's a big number. It's a big number to I mean, even back in the heyday, I think the most expensive WWE network ever was like $15, and that got you everything. So they're bringing in a lot of revenue, but at the same time, it's kind of getting like football. They're making their customers spend a lot of money to watch it. So, football is always going to have that following. And you see people online bitching about it. Be like, if you don't watch every game this year, it's going to cost you like $600, blah, blah, blah. But I don't know if wrestling has that pool. I think the diehards will, but I think I'll be really not going to say one way or the other, but I'm going to be really curious to see where the casual / kind of periodical watchers go, because I don't know if they're going to pay for Netflix to keep watching Raw, and then if they don't have ESPN to pay $30 to get the app to watch it, and I don't know what that number is either. I don't know how many people are actually in that pool. So I think as we go forward, I think it'll come a little bit more clear, but. If you're WWE, you have to be ecstatic to finally, not that USA is not a mainstream channel or anything like that, but to actually be on ESPN now, who is still the most viewed sports channel in the world. That's a big deal. So I think they have to be happy. I think ESPN put a lot of eggs in two baskets, which I'm sure we'll talk about the other one later. But they've spent a lot of money the last 5 days, so I'll be really curious to see how it all plays out for them.
Let's talk about SummerSlam first. I want to be positive. I think that SummerSlam was the exact same thing to me as what WrestleMania was. If you took night one's main event and put it on night two's card, that is the one event I wanted. Night two's main event stunk. Night one's main card was underwhelming. Night two's main event stole the show. I called it. I said this 2 weeks ago that the Seth Rollins injury was a work. People are like, no, there's pictures of him. People are calling me idiots. Look, Becky Lynch is taking videos of him with his kids. I'm telling you, it's a work. CM Punk wins, and then you're going to hear burn it down. And then he even comes out with the leg brace on, throws the crutches away. The ruse of the century, followed by the heist of the century, the two greatest cash-ins in the history of WWE, orchestrated by Seth friggin' Rollins. That's where I'll start with SummerSlam. The best match was the TLC match. By far, the best match was the tables, ladders, and chairs match. That was incredible. I would watch that over and over and over again. The women cooked. Rhea, Io, Naomi cooked. Absolutely. The CM Punk Gunther match went on about 20 minutes too long. 35 minutes for CM Punk is just too much. He was gassed. He was exhausted. The John Cena Cody Rhodes match was a lot better than I thought it would be wrestling wise, but then you ruin it by having a scumbag piece of shit like Brock Lesnar come out at the end. Like, I don't care if Cena wants that. The guy's charged with like borderline rape. I don't want him on my TV. Scumbag. That's my SummerSlam date. As far as I really want more details about the ESPN WWE PLEs. So you're not going to be able to watch the PLEs on ESPN. You're going to have to pay the $30. Like, WrestleMania is not going to be on ESPN. It's going to be, you have the PLEs, you're going to have to pay the subscription cost of $29.99. So I don't really care if you have regular cable or not. It doesn't matter to me because
what I've read numerous times, if you have
cable.
ESPN a part of your cable, you do not have to pay it.
I'm almost sure the PLEs you have to pay this. It's just like the.
I mean, I'll hold on. I saved it earlier.
That's been the talking point there, because if you have cable, then you don't have to pay for the PLEs there. But the problem is kind of like Bill was mentioning earlier, is that $29.99 specifically for a this kind of subscription is double what you were looking at when you were on Peacock, or even with the WWE Network, like the subscriptions for that, like it's pretty much double what that was. So it's a steep cost, especially when you're getting into times where every single week, not every week, but once a month you're having this a PLE, or you're having a Saturday Night Main Event, like you're having so many big time events, like. So that's going to be a lot of money to be shelled out.
Included with ESPN, I'm fine with it. That's
if you have here's part of the thing. If you have Comcast, Hulu Plus TV, YouTube TV, or DirecTV, and ESPN is included in that package, you do not pay the subscription price.
Well, that mean I get Red Zone for that too?
That's something completely different that I don't have an answer for you for.
Well, that's the case. I'm fine with that. I don't think it's a bad merger, and that's the case. I'm more concerned with paying. I have YouTube TV. I think everybody's got streaming, like either a cable or a streaming service. Like
most, but there's still other ones that don't. And again, that's where I'm curious. I want to know how many people are in that pool that are going to shell out the $30 to have to be able to, so they can watch all the pay-per-views. Because that is, if there's a stumbling block in this deal for me, that's where it is. Because and I want to know how many of those people had to get Netflix to watch Raw. So again, you're kind of like what we're talking about here.
$50 a month to watch WWE.
That's a lot of money. Yeah. That's a lot of money.
That's not even counting Friday Night SmackDown, which is on USA.
Correct.
I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. I guess to be determined. But Gautreau, I've seen your faces, and I love reading your faces. I really did. And when I was describing my SummerSlam takes, you were making weird faces.
Because I was with you. You were saying some good stuff, and then you ended, and I was just like, but then you came back around, and I was like, okay, I can understand that. Because you had said if you had moved night one's main event over to night two, then it was exactly what you were looking for. But when you said that, like he had said, night two's main event stunk. And I was like, whoa, that was great. That was a vintage Cena, match there. I know, and then you clarified. You clarified after. But that was what the faces were for there, though. Okay. So I was like, that we had a good match, and I
don't need to see Jelly Roll fighting anymore. I like Jelly Roll's music. I don't need to see him fighting. I thought the coolest part of that entire match was Logan Paul doing the 5-star frog splash off the ropes with the 2 primes and putting Jelly Roll through a friggin' table.
The only thing I'll say is that he took everything. He took everything. For what that was, I thought it was great because there was a part of me when he got up there and I saw it and he kind of was looking up to see if he was coming. I was like, oh, he's gonna move, and then he took that thing square on the button, man. I mean, he took all the bumps. I give him credit for, that was never going to be a serious match for entertainment wise, though. I thought it was great for what it was.
I think as a whole, though, I can agree with that. But as a whole, I think I get you need viewerships and things like that, but I feel like we're starting to lose the plot there with some of these things, like Jelly Roll being there, Travis Scott.
You want to know why? You want to know why?
I get it. People bring in
because Randy Orton's a huge star, and you have nothing to do with them because everything revolves around the same 4 people. You can't find a goddamn storyline for Randy Orton, so let's put him in a match with Jelly Roll. And who's on the other side of that? They got nothing for Logan Paul at SummerSlam. And then on top of that, one of their biggest heels, Drew McIntyre, they have nothing for him because everything is revolving around the same 4 people, wash, rinse, repeat. To Gene's point, I've said what I said about Seth. If you would have left that part there, that's fine. But then again, so now, John loses to Cody, which I think is shit, but it's a great match. But then, now he comes out. It's the same regurgitated stuff. You're gonna burn LA Knight. Gunther's going away for months because he's got to get surgery. You have nothing for Drew. You have nothing for Randy. We already did Randy Cena. That's what I mean. Like they had a 6-year freaking feud in the height of their careers, and we got one match with a BS finish, and we're not going back to it. And now we're going to do Brock and Cena, which is shit. Nobody wants to see it. Nobody. And to Gene's point, I don't think he should even be on TV. So, it is what it is, man. It's getting flat because, we turned heel Cena. The fans really didn't want it, but then in the course of one SmackDown, he goes to a face and then drops the belt the next night. Back to Cody, who has nobody to fight because he's fought everybody already. So if you would have turned Cody, okay, cool. I'm cool with that. Turn Cody and have Cody come out as a different character and be a jerk off and be a heel. I'm fine with that. But we literally went back to where we were for a year of a stale title run at the end, not the beginning. At the end with Cody, to your two biggest draws right now are baby faces.
So my biggest thing with this whole thing is, if you're going to bring Brock back, it would have made 1,000,000% more sense to bring him into the whole thing with Seth and that whole faction. Whether you have it pinned as Roman against those guys, maybe it's the guys who Paul Heyman turned his back against, him coming out and going to John for literally no reason other than just be back. There was nothing said, just went in, gave him that 5, left, and that's just it. There's no story behind it. There's no beef here. I would have much rather seen them put Brock in there and, whether maybe they turn, and I'm not saying this is the case, but maybe you get Roman and Brock to put forth a screw Paul Heyman coalition to go after, what's their name? What's the new name that they
Vision.
got? The Vision. You put together a coalition to go after the Vision. That would have made a lot more sense to me than what they did. And I just don't get it.
We're going to get into this. We're going to get into this, big one. I got you. We're going to roll up. I want to close the title on this SummerSlam WWE thing, ESPN thing with this, right? I want to make it very, very clear of my thoughts. War Games is already set. It's going to be the Vision with Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul. And that's why they did the whole thing with Drew saying, serves Punk right, versus Roman, Punk, Uso, LA Knight, and they'll add a 5th guy. It might be Randy. It might be somebody else. But it'll be the 5 faces versus the Vision and Drew and Logan. That's already taken care of. But what I thought was interesting is you're probably going to get Seth versus Cody at, which I think is going to be incredible, at the Crown Jewel, that's what I'm looking forward to. But Cody's got to go away.
That's not going to be for belts.
I know. But it's going
to be a BS finish. So again, it's lazy writing because you've booked yourself in the corners. You can't have that match. Now again, give me Seth with no belt against Cody and lead me into that match and lead me to believe that Seth could go in there and take that belt from Cody. Sign me up. Because to your point, as a wrestling match, it will be incredible.
Yeah.
But it's not ending. Nobody's taking a pin in that fight. Nobody.
100% someone's taking a pin.
No, they're both walking out of there with their belts. So it's dumb. And that's my point.
Yeah.
To your point with Drew. How many times are we going to do Drew CM?
Yeah.
They've just booked themselves into these corners. And then you have Becky. Becky's oh, my husband's got a belt, so I got to keep mine now. That was shit. You have Ira come out, beat her the first time, and now she's taken 3 L's in a row. And now you want to sell me Becky versus Nikki Bella. That's what you want to sell me now. That's what we're doing. Come on.
You can look, but you can't touch, Cal.
It's just, bro. And I'll tell you what, the promo was great. It was fine. Nobody Nobody wants to watch that match, though. You're bringing up all these women from NXT and pushing them, and you have to. Like, the women's division is the best it's ever been right now. But that's what I mean. You bring her up and you give her a win over Becky right away, and then it's loss. 2 of which are pay-per-views. Like, what do you want me to believe now that she can go out and beat now? You can't beat Becky. You've Alexa and Charlotte tied up, which is hilarious, that whole storyline. But it's one of the few things they've done right. Liv's not back, and I'm still shocked that Rhea took the pin, and Rhea's just in a different stratosphere. So now, and you've Bailey feuding with what's her face. So
Bianca's hurt too.
Yeah, and Bianca's hurt. So that's what I mean. Like you need faces. Jade lost again, which I agree with Gene. She's just proven yet again she's not ready. But now you're keeping a belt on Tiff.
Two massive mistakes in that match. Where she
the 4 minutes to set up the suplex that she didn't even do.
What about the pin where she does Jaded and she basically takes Tiffany's leg and puts it on the rope? By the way, I'm not gonna lie to you. I feel genuinely bad for Jade Cargill. Her post that she made on Twitter of y'all win, and it's like her sitting in the corner, I genuinely feel bad for her. I felt like it meant a lot to her. She's not ready. It sucks. Genuinely felt bad.
I don't disagree, but at the same time, like, it's a cutthroat business. Yeah. Like, it is. It really is. And they are about making fans happy in what they think they want, but also putting out a good product. The only thing I would say to Jade is this. They're clearly behind her and what her future is going to be and getting her there. Like, I don't think she's just, again, I just don't think she's progressed as fast as, either maybe she would have liked or they would have liked. But that being said, it's not like they're burying her and she's not on TV or anything like that. Like, she's just not ready. Like, if you look, like, to the point of even when I first brought up, like, look at Becky. Like, you could disagree with the booking or whatever, but she can go out there and cut a promo better than half the guys.
Yeah.
Like,
as a heel. She was a terrible promo cutter as a face.
Agreed.
We got to move. We got to get off WWE. Couple contracts signed. NBA. Luka Doncic. That's an obvious one. They're signing him to a 3-year deal so he can get the $400 million contract in 3 years. That is 100% what that is. De'Aaron Fox, $229 million deal. I get it. I understand. You have Wemby locked up for like 3 more years on a very low contract. You're smart move. Cottrell, can I ask you either issues with either of these contracts? I feel like they're both no-brainers.
So no issues with it. I will say I'm a little surprised the De'Aaron Fox deal got done as fast as it did. Only reason being is that they didn't give up, a massive haul to get him in San Antonio. And I feel like now that you have a guy who won Rookie of the Year last year in Stephon Castle, you also have Dylan Harper there as well. I'm not saying you just let De'Aaron walk or anything like that, but I would have been curious to see if they would have said, hey, maybe we don't have to give this guy $230 million. Maybe we can bring in somebody who's better. And I'm not saying De'Aaron Fox is a bad player, but, maybe we could potentially bring in somebody who's better and be a better fit with these young guys. Like maybe Stephon Castle is my point guard of the future, or Dylan Harper can step into that spot. And so that way we don't have to shell out $230 million for a clogged up backcourt. But, I mean, I think both of the deals, I understand why both of them happened. The LA deal was a no-brainer, like you said there. But with De'Aaron, ultimately, though, I was just surprised that it happened as quickly as it did.
By the way, I think you're nuts. The Bulls aren't going to be top 6 in the East, but they could be this year because the East is absolutely destroyed. I can't believe Miles Turner got let go by Indiana. His lockdown defense, he didn't get let go. They paid him a ton of money. And Curtis, I want to be very clear. I've seen this on I'm sharing to every group. If you don't want me sharing to your group, throw me out of the group. I'm going to do it every single day. So remove the link. We don't really give a shit. Sorry. I think Fox is fine. I think that you'll be able to move on from that deal after 3 years if you want, when you have to pay Wemby anyway. I don't think there's any issue there.
I'm not saying there's an issue, or I'm not saying there's an issue, or even that you won't be able to move him. But if I'm trying to think of a player, down the line here that could potentially come free, like I would find it hard to think that a young star wouldn't want to go play with Castle, Harper, and Wemby 2 years from now, per se. Like in 2027, when everything is happening.
He's the only guy getting paid on the roster. They still can.
Yeah, I mean, they only have one max. He's the max deal right now. That's it. Wemby's not there yet, and Harper and Castle have a couple years. Yeah, so I mean, listen. We've seen it. You at least have to have 3 or 4 really good players to, most likely win a title. He's a very good player. He'll be a very good complementary piece to Wemby. He will help everybody get better. He'll help bring along Harper. He'll help bring along Castle. And like Gene said, in a couple of years, you move on from him, and that's your big 3, and you can bring in somebody else or, a draft pick between now and then. I think it's great to make sure you don't lose it. What you gave up to get him, and I think San Antonio is going to be good. I think they're going to be a little bit of a under the radar team as much as they can be with having Wemby on the team. I'll
go bait for this, right? Let me just be very easy with you. The Cleveland Cavaliers are 1. The Orlando Magic are 2. The Detroit Pistons are 3. The Cleveland,
next,
Boston, New York, Detroit, Philadelphia. Actually, after news in Philadelphia, they might not be better than the Bulls.
JoJo's out 40 games already. It's fine.
That's amazing.
I take Atlanta over the Bulls right now. Like,
Indiana, even without Tyrese Halliburton, they were just in the Eastern Conference Finals. I don't. Milwaukee, if Giannis is still there, is ahead of them. Like, yeah, I just did. That was easy. Cavs, Knicks, Magic, Hawks, Celtics, Pistons, for sure.
Without a doubt. All 6 of those without a doubt.
So there you go.
But
perfectly for me.
That was it for the signings. You guys have anything else to kind of add in there?
Not really. They're boring. They're just re-signs, new signings. The Luka thing is fun because in 3 years he's going to get $400 million. That's why he did a 3-year deal.
I also think it's interesting too with the Luka deal. Now the reports are coming out that Austin Reeves is looking to sign his extension, so you're going to have those two paired in the backcourt moving forward there, and I think that's a bad move for Austin Reeves.
Get rid of Austin Reeves.
It's a bad move for Austin Reeves because you can get a no. They're going to get him for $30 million a year. That's going to be a bargain. That's a bargain.
I don't need 2 cones in my backcourt.
That is the worst offensive backcourt in the world.
I mean, you say that. You say that, but no. If you're Austin Reeves, you go get more money. I think he's cutting himself short.
I think the Lakers should let him go get more money. That's a terrible.
I'm not saying for $30 million, they absolutely should keep Austin Reeves. No doubt about it.
As a bench player, you can't start Luke and Austin Reeves in your backcourt. That's why Marcus Smart is such a good pickup for them. You get it's 2 cones. Guards are going to have career nights every time they play the Lakers.
Be very interesting.
You say that, but not it.
Well, you said that, and then we watched it in the playoffs. It is what it is.
The Lakers didn't have anybody. They had no rim protection. You can fix – Lakers roster last year was flawed. We knew they had problems last year. I'm saying having those 2 guys there, like –
Ayton will solve that rim protection problem.
The hell he will. They are still very much so missing a rim protector there. I'm just saying if you get 2 good defensive wings to play your 3 and 4 and you actually have a rim protector – you're gonna be perfectly fine with those 2 being there because those are 2 guys that can give you 20 plus a night.
I mean, I guess I just feel like that. I don't know. I just feel like that.
I'm with Gene on this one.
For $30 million, you can bounce. Thanks, Mo.
$30 million is not a big number. It's not a big number.
But it's $30 million. You can put it. I'll put it this way. I'm going to say it's this statement very clear. Marcus Smart will be more valuable to the Lakers this year than Austin Reeves will be.
I mean, in spots, yeah. On a night-to-night basis, absolutely not. No. There's no way.
What do you mean there's no way? There's no way. 2 years ago, he's defensive player of the year. They need defense. Luka's going to score. LeBron's going to score. What do you mean there's no way?
So Austin Reeves, let's not are we acting like Austin Reeves last year wasn't. Austin Reeves was a borderline all-star last year. Even with Marcus Smart being a defensive prowess guy.
There's so many guys in the NBA that can get a bucket. There's so few guys that can stop a bucket. Marcus Smart is one of those guys that can stop a bucket.
It's just a hard sell for me to think coming down the stretch run of a playoff game that Smart isn't going to be playing next to Luka over Austin Reeves, and I think that's our point. I don't like and especially if you're playing a team with good guards. I just don't know how you can go out there and think, you could say rim protection all you want, but if you're talking about guards that can either that can shoot from the outside, they don't even got to worry about it. They're going to light those two up. You put Marcus Smart on one of them, take at least one option away, then you can do things behind that. Like I think you see the playoff games, last 5 minutes of the game. I don't think you're going to see Austin Reeves in the court a lot. I don't.
I'll tell you this: they weren't losing games in the playoffs last year because they had bad defense. They were losing playoff games because they couldn't score over 100+ points like every game. Of course, the bad defense, played a part into it, but you take away Austin Reeves from that team, you're losing 26-5 production-wise, and that was half a season with Luka, and obviously LeBron was healthy last year too. So I'm just saying, as a whole, yes, Marcus Smart is a good defender. He will be valuable for them, but you have to put the ball in the bucket to win games, and Austin Reeves can not only do that, he can also get others involved, whether it be Luka's in foul trouble or things like that. We also have to remember that LeBron won't be on this team probably after this year. So they're going to need a secondary ball handler. Like we've seen that Luka works best when he has somebody else that can handle the ball at times as well. So that's why I say the Austin Reeves thing is something that makes sense at $30 million a year, knowing that that's not even a big time contract in the NBA, especially 2 years, 3 years from now.
I'm going to ask you a question. And
he had a negative plus minus last year.
I want to ask you a question, Cottrell. And I think I know your answer. I think you're going to go really quick. And I think your answer is going to be wrong. If you're the Lakers, would you rather have Austin Reeves or Alex Caruso? At least you didn't go quick.
For how long?
For this year.
For this year, with LeBron, I'd say Caruso.
I respect that. I'll shut up now. Because I'm saying the point is you could pay Alex Caruso $30 million too. And I think he's a more beneficial player for that team than what Austin Reeves.
But without LeBron, though, I'm saying Austin Reeves.
Oh, okay. I'm not my point being is I would take Luka Dort over Austin Reeves.
Oh, see, that's I don't know. I just can't get behind that.
Throw me in the torture chamber, bro. Give me a defensive stalwart that goes 5 for 5 from 3 in the NBA Finals
for one game. Yeah, that's not.
I'm having fun. What's the third topic on Hotline?
All right, so third one here. We're sticking with basketball, but we're going over to the W. You have MVP leader of the number one team in the W, of the Minnesota Lynx, Napheesa Collier. She's going to be out the next couple of weeks with an ankle sprain. Wanted to get your guys' reaction to this because, one, obviously the Lynx have been on an absolute tear. Like I said, they've been the best team in the W. But not only that, it looked like, Napheesa Collier was starting to pull away a little bit in that MVP race, especially with all the success that Minnesota was having. Wanted to get your guys' thoughts of, how do you see this affecting that Lynx team there? And then ultimately, do you think that this completely opens that door for somebody to come in and potentially steal the MVP award?
It definitely opens the door for someone to step in and steal that MVP award. And that person's Alyssa Thomas. Like, there's just no doubt in my mind Alyssa Thomas needs to be the person that we talk about in that scenario. What Phoenix has done this year and how she's made so many people around her better that opens the door completely. Yeah, Fee's been the best player in the league. She was minus 1,100 to win the MVP before the injury. She's down to like minus 175. It's a huge jump. Now, she's still favored to win the award, but Alyssa Thomas has jumped up to plus 250. Sabrina Ionescu's got to be up in that conversation. Alicia Gray's got to be up in that conversation. There's a lot of women in the W that now have an opportunity to steal an MVP with Nafisa Collier's injury. I don't think it will take it away from her, but I promise you, if one of those three women go on an absolute run and go on a heater, that absolutely could happen.
I think the Sabrina one is a little tough though, because New York's been struggling. Like Sabrina would have to go on a run. I think they would have to.
She's played
have
well,
the team go on a run. She's been playing well, but I think the team itself. And I know it's not MVP is not necessarily a team award, but to your point there about Alyssa Thomas, like I think a big, attribute or a big plus for her is that no one expected Phoenix to have any playoff aspirations this year. Like we all went into the season thinking that this would be a rebuild, and she's been playing great, and that Phoenix team has been playing great. So I do think she would be the one that you kind of look at here. Alicia Gray has kind of fallen off a bit since the All-Star break there. Of course, she's still having a great season, but as a whole, it hasn't been what we saw pre-All-Star game there. So of course, I think the door is open here, but I think if this was ultimately before the All-Star break and, Alicia Gray is still been playing as well as she was, and obviously Atlanta was playing as well as they were, I think we'd be having a different discussion. To me, as it stands right now, like you mentioned a lot of names, I really only think that Alyssa Thomas is the one that could come in and potentially steal that award from her.
I mean, I guess we'll find out. You might be right. I'm not disagreeing with you. There's not many games left, but come playoff time, they really need the W needs those stars back, and we'll see how that plays out. Phoenix being 18-11, I did not have that on my bingo card
at all.
No, Atlanta too. Both of them, I didn't have 18 and 11. That's a really, New York's definitely struggled though.
For sure. I mean, Minnesota.
I'll tell you what I did have. I had Connecticut last in the W.
And now they're going to Boston. They were so bad they just got getting moved to Boston.
Yeah, I think that'll be the best thing that ever happened to them. Boston will spend the money and build
for sure.
100%.
For sure. Bill, anything to add there? Fees?
No,
injury?
I mean, again, I think as both of you mentioned, it came at not the most opportune time. I think it'll be till she's probably fully healed and back to where she wants to be. It's going to be really close to playoff time. I think the Lynx will, they'll hang in there, and I think they'll be fine till they get her back. But MVP wise, I agree. I think it's going to take a special. So somebody's going to go on a legit tear, I think, to catch her. So, she was having a special season. I think she's probably done enough. But that being said, there will be people that vote and not want to give it to somebody who's played 25 games. So that could hurt her. And if somebody does catch fire, then it gets interesting.
Looking forward to it. Them having a 5.5 game lead. They're gonna them having a 5.5 game lead for the number one seed. They're going to be very cautious with bringing Nafisa Collier back. And even if they finish at the 2, get a healthy Fee come playoffs. With the way that team's played this year, Minnesota should be your front runner to win it all.
Yeah, and then they made the move to go get Dejanay too. So
a good move.
I think that's
very good defensively.
Yeah, good defensively, and she's going to add a lot to that team there, especially while Fee is out. Now her offensive game, of course, needs a little bit of work there, but maybe Minnesota just needs to find a new way to win, keep teams under a certain number, and kind of drag it out to the month there. So I thought it was very interesting that that was the move that they ultimately decided to make there. But I think that it could be one that helps them out a ton. She
got a back injury, brother. She's out too. Injuries has done a great job rebounder, but she's not going to win the MVP.
She's cooked.
Yeah, her back's hurt.
No reason to even bring her back really this year.
No. And by the way, I love last comment. I love what Dallas is doing. They're 100% building that team. They're getting assets back. They're getting situated, and they're building that team around Paige Beckers. And I love what they're doing. Dallas is doing it the right way. I love the way they're handling themselves.
Agreed. And I wouldn't be surprised if Enrique Ogunbowale got traded this offseason.
Yeah, build the team around Paige, 100%. And I don't mind if Ogunbowale is the 2 and you allow Paige to consistently run the offense at the 1, I'm okay with it.
I'm okay with that too. The only reason why I say I wouldn't be surprised if she got traded is because statistically this is probably her second worst year since she's been in the W, and people are thinking that it's a lot of it could potentially be doing to just being as off ball as she is. Like Paige is really running that offense there, so maybe she's not a good fit, but she is still one of, she's a top 10, top 15 player in all of the W. So you can get assets for her. And, if that means you get better fit pieces, then, so be it at this point, because Paige has proven that she's going to be the star of that team.
100%. All right, let's move forward. I want to do the linebackers before we get into trivia. My trivia is going to be long. It's going to be fun. So I'll be very clear with you guys. I'm diabolical, man. If you're here at 8:00, you are going to hate this trivia tonight. It is going to drive you nuts. I'll be clear. I probably would have got 4 out of the 10 on my first shot. That's how tough it is. But I like what we did last week. We're doing the same thing to linebackers, right? Do our top 10 the way it's structured. Cottrell, I'm gonna put you in charge of the pen and paper.
Absolutely.
Who went first? I went first the second time, right? You went first the first time for Shad.
Yeah, so Bill's going first.
All right, Bill goes first.
I'll go third.
I'll go in the 2 spot. That's fine.
All right, I'll be curious to see. I'm not going to take 1 or 2. Be curious to see how you guys have them. I'll start at number. You know what? I'll go Homer. I'll start at number 4. Nope, sorry. Number 5. Number 5. Sorry. Nah, I don't want to do that.
That's not Homer if you have him 5. That's actually bad. Don't do that.
I'll go number 4. I will go with Zach Bond, number 4 from the Eagles.
I had him 3, to be clear.
Oh, brother.
What do you mean, brother? The guy was AP All-Pro. Like, what are we talking about right now? He was incredible last year.
He was.
So he was number 1 PFF's linebacker last year.
Okay. You expect him to do the same thing this year?
3? No, 3 is fine.
Right,
I have the 2 guys, the 2 main guys ahead of him. Him 3 is perfect. You put him 4, right?
4.
No, he's
okay.
He's 5th on my list.
Oh, I don't mind him being fit. But you're saying, oh, brother, he has 4. I have 3.
3 is a little high.
Let me ask you a question.
He capped out at 4 for me.
Where are you throwing Jeremiah Owusu-Karamo on your list? Is that what you're doing?
No, why would he be? He's not playing football this year, so why would he be on my list?
I don't know. I'm just making sure. I'll go with Frankie Louvu at 6.
Oh, that's higher than I thought you would have him. Okay.
I think he's incredible. I wish he was an Eagle.
He's good.
But it doesn't matter. I like Jihad. I like Nakobe. I really don't wish he was an Eagle, but I love the way he plays football.
All right, well, I'll split the baby here. I'll go 5. I'll go my guy Nick Bolton, Kansas City.
I had him 7. So that's interesting how I got to play this. All right, Chow, you're up. We're obviously leaving 1 and 2 for 2 guys. That should be very obvious.
I know. I feel like people are. So what we have? We have 4, 5, and 6 off the board.
Yeah, 4, 5, 6 off the board. Oh no, you just did one.
We did 4, 5, 6.
4, 5, 6. Yep.
Perfect. All right, I'll go number 7 then. I'll go with Tremaine Evans from Chicago.
Oh.
I don't mind that. I had him 8.
Edmonds. All right, Gene.
I'll go Patrick Queen at 9.
What he wants to do?
Why? It's not fun when you take the obvious ones. I want to go with the ones I want. I want Patrick Queen on my list. He's a monster.
All right. You guys not putting him on the list yet. Make sure he's here because he's on my list. Number 10, I got Jack Campbell of the Detroit Lions.
I had him 5, FYI.
You Jack 5?
Yeah.
I had him 7.
I love him at 5.
I have 9.
That's fair. Listen, it's a projections list. It's
Yeah,
where
I
I
get
would
it.
project them to be. I think Jack Campbell's going to have a monster year. So
What's
let's
left?
recap.
Where did you have Bolton?
He had Bolton 6.
No, you. Where did you have Bolton?
7.
I
Is
didn't
that
pick
crazy?
one.
I'll read you my whole list when we're done.
Okay.
Just quickly.
Okay.
What's left?
1, 2, 3, 8.
At least nobody's getting left off.
No.
Oh, I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm gonna be a scumbag here. I love this.
All right. Well, I'm just going 1 then. I'm going with Ward, baby. I'm going with Ward number 1.
Warner?
Warner. I mean, sorry.
Okay. I'm like, sure, Babius Ward? I'm just kidding.
Yes.
I'll go.
Number 1.
I'm up, right?
Yes.
Give me Dre Greenlaw 3.
Okay. That's not what I was expecting at all.
I mean, I had him on my list, just not number 3.
Yeah, he was my number 10.
Well, my number 10 is the guy you probably had number 3. So
I have Roquan Smith at 2.
love it. So Shally, you have an option here. This is where you're at. Oh, never mind. It's an easy one. Put him in 8.
Number 8.
Yeah, it's an easy one. It's where he belongs. 8 through 10. He's 35. Knock it off.
Been the best linebacker on his team for 10 years straight, including last year. With the guy we have ahead of him.
Shally might leave him off the list. He's struggling. He's struggling.
No, I'll go with Levante David.
He's struggling. He's struggling. He left them off the goddamn list. I love it. I love it. I love it. You know what we're talking about, Chow?
I'm assuming you're talking about Bobby.
Yep. Thank you. I'm with you. So my list for this year, I'll go quickly. I have Checker Fred at 1, Roquan Smith at 2, Zach Bond at 3, Dre Greenlaw 4, Jack Campbell 5, Frankie Louvu 6, Nick Bolton 7, Tremaine Edmonds 8, Patrick Queen 9, Bobby Wagner 10.
My list is Roquan at 1, Fred Warner at 2, Bobby Wagner at 3, Nick Bolton at 4, Zach Bond at 5, Levante David at 6, Jack Campbell at 7, Tremaine Edmonds 8, Frankie Louvu at 9, and number 10, Dre Greenlaw.
See, this is where we'll disagree. You said a comment a minute ago that Bobby Wagner's been the best linebacker on his team for 10 years. He wasn't the best linebacker on his team last year, and I don't agree.
Last year.
If you, I watch more Commanders football than you did, just like you watch more Steelers football than I do. When we're playing the Commanders, I'm not worried about where Bobby Wagner is. I'm worried about where Frankie Louvu is.
Well, that's more so because you're worried about the safety of your players.
Yeah, I mean nosedives it, guys. I get it.
He's coming in with bad intentions, but that's a different animal.
By the way, MD over here, my guy, he wants to promote us. Podcast promote. Thanks, bro. We're good.
Bill, do you have your full 10?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have Bobby at 3.
I had Bobby at 10. So
Bobby probably went 11 for me. Obviously, I went blah 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 blah.
Roquan and Fred, or Fred and Roquan.
Fred Roquan. I had Nick 3, Zach 4. I had Frankie Louvu 5. Tremaine Edmonds 6. Jack Campbell 7. Levante David 8. Where the hell?
Patrick Queen.
Patrick Queen was 9, and then I had Dre Greenlaw 10.
So you didn't have Frankie Louvu on your list.
No, I did.
He said Louvu was
he's number 5.
Oh, okay,
number 5.
I missed that. My fault. I think Frankie Louvu is by far the best linebacker on the Commanders.
I mean, I love Bobby. I don't. I mean, again, we're projecting. I mean, one of these years, it's going to change. And now listen, and you're right. We say this all the time, and then like it still goes on for 3 years. So, I mean, he could be. I just think at some point, I just don't think he puts up another monster year. I don't think he's a liability or anything like that. But and I do agree with Gene. I don't know if he's the best linebacker on that team anymore.
You talk about all pros and, give the credit to Zach Bond for being the first team. Well, the second team guy was Bobby Wagner. So there's a reason why that was the case there. It wasn't just off of the sheer number of tackles. Like, I've been the one, like, we've been doing these lists before. We've been giving our top fives. I've been with you guys. Like, I'm expecting that fall off to happen at a point. And I damn sure thought it was going to be in Washington. Like, I thought once he got out of Seattle and went over to Washington, like, last year was supposed to be that year. And then he went out and just had another great season. And if that's the case, if Bobby plays like he did last year, no reason why he shouldn't be in your top five.
Yeah, there's definitely a reason. There's still 5 linebackers that played better than Bobby last year. There are.
I guess the All-Pro got it wrong.
Yes. Just like the NFL execs get it wrong.
All right, so Zach Bond, I guess there's not. I mean, I guess he should. If I have him at 5, like, that's.
I don't think that's crazy. I don't think it's crazy to have him at 5. I just felt like me having him at 3 wasn't crazy either. You made it like it was like Homer. It wasn't a Homer thing. He was the number 1 linebacker last year.
I get it, but I don't see him repeating that. I think it was
going to have him bring. By the way, Josh Campbell is going to be a monster. You can't miss him. I was at Eagles practice Friday. You cannot miss him. He is unreal.
I mean, he was the best linebacker coming in. So, well,
I completely agree. Eagles got a steal there. I do want to, before we get into trivia, I do want to ask you about your thoughts on Shedeur Sanders starting the preseason opener for the Browns. Now, look, I'm going to make something very clear to you. From an outsider's perspective, you're the Browns guy. Joe Flacco's not going to play because he's the starter right now. And then the other 2 are hurt. So you guys brought in, what's his name?
Tyler Huntley.
Snoop Huntley.
Snoop.
As a 5th quarterback on your roster because Dylan Gabriel's hurt and Kenny Pickett's hurt. What's your thoughts on Shedeur starting? Does that matter?
For me, it's a mixed bag of nuts. I think on one hand, I am looking forward to seeing what he can do. Obviously, you've been hearing a ton of reports of how limited he's been in camp so far. You have 4 quarterbacks. Only the ball can only go around to so many times to those guys, and you can only get so many reps to those guys there. But I think that is a blessing and a curse for him. On one hand, you get the opportunity to go in there. You start that game against the Panthers. Dave Canales has already said that, that Panthers team will be playing their starters and the starters will be seeing significant time. And the Browns have come out today and said that, they don't really plan on playing too many starters and, you're going to get a lot of 2s and 3s in there. So with that being the case, if you can go in there with the Browns 2s and 3s and you can move the ball consistently against the Panthers 1s, especially in multiple drives, like, I do think that's going to turn some heads and that's going to truly give you an opportunity. On the flip side of that, though, I think he is in a position where, he really doesn't have much room for failure. He really hasn't had that many reps in practice, like I said there. And if the reason being is that you want to get him to learn the offense and you want to slow play him in there, I don't know how you can go out and just expect him to have success right away with the lack of time that he's gotten in practice. So I think this is a true sink or swim moment here. And, we're going to see what happens.
You laughed at the comment, right, Bill?
Yeah. That's funny as shit.
I thought it was funny too. I do want to let me ask, because the reason I'm asking that question is, do the Browns punt this season and just see what they have? Because that's
No
what
way.
it feels like.
There's no reason to. I mean, I think outside of
hear me out. Well, hear me out. Every rep you take away from your starting quarterback to have 4 friggin' quarterbacks in camp is a lost rep. And who's their starter? Week 1. Joe Flacco, right?
Flacco.
Okay. So I guess who's your backup week 1? See what I mean? Who?
Dylan Gabriel.
Is that your opinion?
I mean, I think you're going to roll into the season. I've already seen how this plays out. And this is, granted, this Shador thing and everybody being hurt right now kind of threw a monkey wrench into what I was thinking there. But I thought all along that Flacco was going to be your starter. Gabriel was going to be your backup. Shador was going to be your third string. You keep him on your active so people can't poach from your practice squad. And you trade Kenny Pickett before the season starts. Kenny's going to look great in the preseason. They're going to do stuff that fits him. They're going to showcase him. Like, hey, look at my shiny new toy. Someone's going to get hurt in the preseason. I know that's the thing that's derailing, kind of my thought process there. But thought they were going to showcase him, trade him. Somebody's going to have a quarterback that goes down. You're going to be like, hey, we'll give you give a 6th-round pick, recoup what we sent out for him, and we'll call it even there. And you're going to just roll with that and then see how everything goes. I don't think Joe Flacco is going to have a long leash to begin with, especially if you're losing game early. You might as well see what you have there on the roster. But I don't think this is a time to just go and punt the season, and because I know it's the most important position in football. It is by far, without a doubt, most important position in football. You have a top 8 defense in football as it stands right now. You have a great offensive line. Find ways to win games ugly.
This is silly. You punt the season, Gautreaux.
Absolutely not.
100%.
You don't punt the season. No.
You see what you have with Gabriel and Sanders. You punt the season.
Seeing what you have, to me, though, is not punting the season either, though.
100% is punting the season.
I think if you go out week 1 and you're starting either Gabriel or Sanders, I don't think you're necessarily flipping off the fan base, but I think it's becoming evident that you are that at that point then seeing if either one of those guys are franchise guys, and then you're going from there. I think that becomes very evident that's your motive for the season. I have one question. Was Flacco named the starter before Kenny got hurt?
Yes, he was on the official depth chart. They had Flacco as the starter. And that was a day or 2 before Kenny got hurt.
Okay. So that was the one I saw. Then Dylan was 3 and Shador was 4.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
I just think, though, last thing I'll say, I know it's about to be 8 o'clock here. When you have the Jaguars' 1st-round pick, now, of course, the Jags might be somebody's sleeper. They might be good this upcoming year. I don't think that's going to be the case, though. Rookie head coach, and I still think they have a ton of problems.
The Jags have more wins than the Browns?
If they do it, I don't think it's by much. Like, I think they're both in the same – like, I could easily see the Browns having an awful season, but I also think the Jags can have a really bad year. And if that's the case, you're still going to have your crack at a quarterback early next year if that's what you want to do. But the other thing I was going to say with that, I think, and this might be a hot take, I don't know if it is or not, the 2027 class is the one I would be gearing up for a quarterback as opposed to 2026. 2027, I think you're going to have that's what the year you're going to have 3 or 4 franchise guys coming out.
I'll be willing. It's a dumb bet. We got to make another dumb bet. We'd never pay them up anyway. It's stupid. But I would be willing to bet that the Jaguars have more wins this year than the Browns. And that's like very comparable. I think their over-unders are the same.
Yeah, they're very close. Browns are only projected to win 1 game this year. Like looking at their schedule moving forward, they're only favored in 1 game all year.
It doesn't matter if they're favored. The over-under is what I look at because things happen. I think they're going to win way more than 1 game.
What is their official over-under?
I think it's 6.5.
Ooh.
Hold on, let me just check.
6.5 is high.
I don't know what Pittsburgh is, so that's whatever. But
4.5.
I mean,
that makes sense.
Never mind. You shouldn't think that. The Jags are going to win more than 5. Jags are 7.5, which is very high.
I like their under.
I guess. Let's get into trivia. I'm fired up for trivia. The whole crowd is asking for trivia. Trivia time.
Trivia time. The whole crowd.
So I need you to listen to the question.
Oh God.
It's one of those.
It's not. It's very easy. It's very easy when you just listen to that question. So I've seen this all over, and the one question that everyone keeps asking is, who is the only team to never draft a quarterback in the first round of the NFL draft? And there's one team, and you might know this or you might not know this. The question is, who is the last 10 teams, the oldest 10 teams to draft a quarterback in the first round? So, like, obviously, who got picked? The Titans wouldn't be number one. Make that very easy. They drafted a quarterback in the first round this year. So, the furthest back of a team drafting a quarterback in the first round. So, there's obviously, like, there's some that go way back, but there's some that a team drafted a quarterback in the first round. I won't tell you how recent it's been, but I need the top 10 teams that have drafted a quarterback in the first round, furthest away from today.
I'm glad I'm second in this one. I'll say that.
You get it? Do you get it, though?
I get it.
Okay. I have the list up. Shall you start? Drafted a quarterback in the first round, the last 10. Well, obviously not the last 10. The furthest from doing this. Once you guys get number 10 or number 9, you guys, because I'll say the year, and you guys will start humming them off.
Okay.
Okay, I get it. But, like, it's going to be tough until you get number, like, 8, 9, and 10.
I'll go Green Bay Packers.
The Green Bay Packers drafted Jordan Love in 2020. They're not on the list.
Jordan Love.
Yeah. I'm going to go with the Seattle Seahawks.
Seattle Seahawks have not drafted a quarterback in the first round since 1993. That lands them at number 3.
I'll go Detroit Lions.
Detroit Lions have not drafted a quarterback in the first round since 2009. That lands them at number 5.
Since 2009, number 5.
See how that helps you?
Yeah, because that's
That should help
Stafford. No, for sure. Before that, okay. That's the case there. They got to be around. They got to be around there. I want to go with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Philadelphia Eagles have not drafted a quarterback in the first round since 2016. Carson Wentz, number 2 overall, and that is your number 7.
Yeah.
So I want to be very clear about this, because there's like a tiebreaker of the year, but I went by the person that was drafted later in the draft.
Yeah, I got you.
No, earlier in the draft. Because
right, the person got drafted earlier. Yeah,
correct.
It would be. Yep.
Correct. I'm just making sure we're very clear there. 2-1. Shal, you're up.
I'll go with the Steelers.
The Steelers drafted Kenny Pickett in 2019, I believe, or 2020. They are not up on the list.
They took him in the second.
Because of what you just said, Gene, it gave me a little insight to the last time they took a quarterback number 1 overall. I'm going to go with the guy who went right before Carson Wentz. I'm going to go with Jared Goff and the now Los Angeles Rams.
That's correct. Cottrell, the Rams are on the list at number 8. I actually think the Eagles and Rams should be switched. Same year, it didn't matter. I did the tiebreaker for the last one.
But yeah, you saying that, I was like, oh, it's got to be one of what he's talking about. Who else took a QB in that year?
I'll go. I'll go with Tampa Bay.
That's a great one. Tampa Bay is not taking a quarterback in the first round since 2015. Number 1 overall, Mr. Jameis Winston.
See, so if they've never taken a first rounder, they're not on the list then, correct?
They are on the list.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll take the New Orleans Saints.
So the New Orleans Saints took a quarterback in the first round in 1971. That was the pre-Super Bowl year. That is the number 1 team. That is the oldest team. That is the trivia question. Never taken one since the Super Bowl. That's the trivia question that sparked this. So it's 4-2. You guys have done really well so far, in my opinion.
I'll go with Dallas.
The Dallas Cowboys have not taken a quarterback in the first round since 1989. That was Troy Aikman. Shally, back in the game.
4-3.
So you guys are missing number 4, 9, and 10. 9 and 10 are shut up. I'm not giving any hints. 4, 9, and 10 is where we're at. We got 3 left.
The question is, they've got to be one of them. It's could have been before. I'm gonna roll with the Kansas City Chiefs.
The Kansas City Chiefs took Patrick Mahomes in the 2017 NFL draft. They are number 9.
Bang, bang, bang.
That's 5. So you've locked up at least a tie. I do have a tiebreaker question.
Around 2017.
Nope, not them. I'm also thinking Bill, so that class is interesting to say the least.
Because now I'm down to there's so many that came within a year or 2 of each other. Can't be him.
Who was their guy before though? So that's what I'm trying to think of.
Shally, I need an answer, brother. I give you 10 seconds.
I'll go with Baltimore.
Baltimore is incorrect.
There's too many of them. I cannot think of the last guy that they've taken in the first round, so I'm going to throw them out here. I'm going to go with the Raiders.
The Raiders are number 4 in 2007 was the last time. Cottrell, you've officially won. For the sake of it, this is where I'm not gonna lie to you. I wanted Cottrell to win. This is absolutely I wanted it. Tell the truth. I'm just being honest. So number 10 is an absolute cheat code question.
What
so
year? It's 2017. It's between.
There's only one team that would make the list in 2018.
Oh, okay.
That would be the number 1 overall pick.
And that's Cleveland. Because they're
Baker
at 10. Baker went first.
That was why I like that. It fits so perfectly because it was Baker, and then you have Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. They're all in that list. Yeah, but the Cardinals took one more recently.
Yeah.
But they're all 2018. Browns, Bills, Ravens. They're all 2018. So the trivia question, the 11, I would ask for 11 and 12. And you guys would have had to get them in order. But number 10 was the Browns. Great job, Cottrell.
That's one I can get behind.
But it's a fun trivia question, was it not? I took my time with this one. By the way, the Titans would have been on this list if it wasn't for this year.
They were one I was thinking about too, because the one before that would have been what? Would have been who?
Marcus Mariota. Because they took Will Levis in the second round. And they took Malik Willis in the fourth round.
Yeah, I was just trying to fly through who I knew I could rule out. Like with the Raiders, I wasn't confident in the Raiders, but I'm like, I can't even think of who their last guy.
You know that was in 2007, right?
Jamarcus Russell.
Jamarcus Russell. That is correct. Great work, gentlemen. Great work. Sticking to the NFL conversation, I want to throw this out there. There's some holdouts, some trade requests. I feel like I'm engaged right now. Shally, I want to know how engaged you are.
In regards to what?
Who's your favorite owner in the NFL? I know who my favorite owner in the NFL is.
I mean, it's hard not to say Lurie. Are you talking about non-homer stuff?
No, he wants you to say Jerry, because Jerry just pisses off all the Cowboys players and runs them out of town.
That is correct. Jerry, listen, he does it again. He does it again and again and again. He's talking about napkin deals and Rock Nation and Des Bryant, Michael Parsons. Like, I love that one. Well, Michael, like it's Micah. Like, know your star player's name, you moron. But he was asked today or yesterday, yesterday, if he feels confident that Micah Parsons would be playing week 1 versus the Philadelphia Eagles. He said no.
No.
Not very confident in that at all. Let's talk about Micah Parsons demanding a trade, walking right up to Stephen Jones, asking for a trade. Jerry Jones not negotiating with Micah Parsons' agent because he sat down with him in March. And we thought we came to the framework. And when I bought the Dallas Cowboys, we 30 minutes, we had that signed, sealed, and delivered.
Shook hands, iron out the details later.
Oh, my Lord. What do you think about Jerry? What do you think about Jerry Jones, Shally?
Well, like you said, Jerry's going to be Jerry. Jerry likes to be the biggest star in his own show. And that's not what you want to be as an owner. You want what is on the field to be the star of the show. And I mean, listen, we've heard it before from other players. Like it's, you know, and we've heard it from other coaches too. Like we've seen coaches not want to take jobs there, and we've heard other Hall of Fame coaches leave that place and say it's almost impossible to coach there because he is involved in every single little detail. He's in everybody's business, you know, and he's the definition of a hands-on owner, I guess you could say. I think saying his name wrong, stuff like that. I mean, I don't want to say it's intentional, but even if it's unintentional, it's horribly disrespectful to the guy who is the face of your franchise, who is one of the top talents in the entire league. And I give Mike a credit to walk up, you know, when this is all going on, still be at camp, and then walk up to Steven and request it in person, not do it through your agent or anything like that, and just literally walk up to him and say, trade me. Like, I don't want to be here. That's handling your business like a man. So unless they throw some ungodly number at him, and one that I don't know that they could probably really afford either without having to probably get rid of other people, I don't know how he stays there. But I think it's gonna, if they really do have to trade him, if they're gonna go through this stand your ground stuff and start fining him and everything else, he's gonna require a haul to trade for as well. So that'll probably take a little bit of time as well. So I hope there's a resolution to it. If he somehow ends up on the Eagles, I would be ecstatic.
Not happening.
But it's not going to happen. As good as how he is, I just don't see how it would happen.
You can't pay.
But yeah, I mean, so it's sure as hell going to be interesting. It's going to dominate the headlines till it's over, one way or the other. I'll tell you that much.
Charlie, you brought up two things, and I'm going to go right to control with this. You brought up two things. I don't hope it gets done. Number one, I'll say that. The second thing is, it's not going to take a haul to land Micah Parsons. I don't think it's going to take much at all. And people are talking about how much it's going to take to land Micah Parsons. He needs a contract. You're going to have to pay him to be the highest paid defender in the NFL. So you're trading for him to overpay him. No chance teams are giving up multiple first-round draft picks to give Micah Parsons. There's no way that's happening. No way. Cottrell, what do you think? I'm going to read you a quote, and I'd just like to hear your opinion of it. In March, I met with Mr. Jones to talk about leadership. Somehow the conversation turned into him talking contract with me. Yeah, I engaged back and forth in regards to what I wanted from my contract, but at no point did I believe this was supposed to be a formal negotiation. I informed Mr. Jones afterward my agent would reach out, thinking we would get things done. Jerry's response: I bought the Cowboys with a handshake. It took about 30 seconds. I gave the numbers, shook hands. The details were worked out later. What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, the immediate reaction is Jerry was trying to do deals essentially in bad faith. There's a reason why players have these agents, and there's a reason why 95% of players don't negotiate their own contract. There's a reason why these agents get paid a ton of money to look through paperwork, make sure certain stipulations aren't in there and things like that. Like, there's a reason why all this stuff happens. And so for Jerry to be like, hey, throw us out a number here, what are your guarantees, things like that. Yeah, there may be one thing that Micah wants. Micah might have said, hey, I want $100 million guaranteed, and I want to be the highest paid player in the league, which is fine and dandy. But if the Cowboys come with an offer and they say, hey, well, if you get hurt this year, we're going to avoid some money, or we could potentially trade you at any point, or if you do this, like, we can take away money. Like, there's certain things in contracts that agents are quite literally paid to look through and make sure they're looking out for their client. And so for me, that just shows that should be like an immediate red flag in that case there. But to just talk about the idea of Micah moving on, I actually disagree in the sense that it won't take a lot to trade for him, because how you used to see the MasterCard commercials, and at the end it would be like, how much does this cost? Like, I truly think Micah Parsons is priceless. Like, I don't think there is a haul that the Cowboys would move Micah Parsons for, because I think Jerry Jones is that dug in to not making Micah happy at this point. Like, it's like, all right, either I'm going to pay him, or we're going to fine him for sitting out or not showing up and things like that all this time, and we'll just go from there. Or if he plays and they still can't get a deal done, there's nothing in my being that doesn't make me think that the Cowboys are going to franchise tag him next year and just trying to keep tagging him, similar to how we saw the New York Giants deal with the Saquon Barkley situation. And ultimately, it may lead to Micah Parsons walking for nothing. Like, I think absolutely those situations are going to be parallel there. So you can talk about teams not offering multiple first-round picks. I don't think Jerry cares what teams are offering for him, because I think in his mind, he thinks there's a way for him to finalize a deal, or if he can't finalize a deal, it's a vendetta. I'm going to hold this guy hostage until he either comes to my terms, or he's just going to, pay the consequences here moving forward.
I love that for the Cowboys. I hope he holds them hostage. I hope they franchise tag him. I hope players like CeeDee Lamb keep speaking out against the owner on Instagram. I love that. Pot shots all day. So just to be clear, Jerry Jones's comments that happened just a week ago, he goes, just because we sign him doesn't mean we're going to have him. He was hurt 6 games last year. Seriously. Contracts are 4 or 5 years, okay? There's a lot of water under the bridge if you step out there and do something in the first 2 or 3. Well, guess what, Jerry? I got news for you. Micah Parsons has only missed 4 games in his entire career as a Cowboy. So you said he was hurt 6 games last year. He only missed 4 total. So you're not even given the right stats. Then you took a pot shot at his quarterback, saying we paid a guy the most money in the NFL, and he wasn't with us for half the season last year. Jerry Jones is the gift that keeps on giving. I appreciate this man. I don't think we talk about him as great of an owner as he is.
And the thing is if Jerry would literally stay out of his own way when it came to the negotiation part of things, like clearly he's got the money. Like the money shouldn't be an issue, but he drafts well. Like literally, all you got to do is if you have somebody come in, you get a guy like Howie, and obviously Howie Rosemans don't grow on trees, but you get a guy like that essentially that understands the cap the way that Howie does and knows how to move money and things like that. But you still keep control of drafting players. The Cowboys will be in great shape. The Cowboys always draft good players. It's just the fact that they either don't put them together or the ones they do have, they piss them off like this, and then or they just run them into the dirt like they did Zeke. They should have moved on from Zeke 2 years earlier and had a replacement plan in place for him, but they didn't do that. So Dallas is going Dallas.
The Bengals have now offered Trey Hendrickson closer to the top of the market, and it looks like he's ended his holdout. He is back in Bengals training camp. I don't know. I think the Bengals are terrible at putting contracts together, if I'm being completely honest with you. I look at the T. Higgins contract, the Joe Burrow contract. They don't bonus money out because they don't want to pay the bonus money. They don't want the owner doesn't want to pay out of pocket, so it's all capped money. So they're going to pay Trey Hendrickson a ton of money, and I don't know what the hell else they're going to do because they're already sitting in a bad cap situation now. Hendrickson's back at camp. What are your thoughts on Trey Hendrickson?
Said it before. I think they put themselves in a tough spot. I mean, we've talked about the show, quarterback show, and everything else, and you're watching Joe and Chase and all these guys put up 35 points a game, and they're constantly losing. And then the ownership goes out and spends all the money on the offense this season. He's been a captain there. He was there before all those guys. Definite leader of the defense. Probably gonna, like you said, overpay for him a little bit. But that being said, it's a move you have to make, and like you said, they're already in cap hell. It's not going to get better as they go with some of these big contracts they just signed. Obviously, Chase and Joe are worth every penny you're paying them, but it's going to get harder and harder to form a team around them. Even with the cap going up a little bit every year. But I always kind of thought this was the end game here. I don't think you can let him walk. I don't think you can let him hold out. He's too big of a part of a defense that's not good already as it is. But like I said, leadership-wise, captain, all that stuff. And I think the fan sentiment, which you've seen the last week to 10 days, kind of really pick up. Plus, the guys on the team all say they want him there. I don't think Cincinnati really has a choice.
So I don't know if what I'm about to say is going to put me out on my ledge or if it's just saying the quiet part out loud here, but I'll preface it by saying Trey Hendrickson is a top 10 edge in football without a doubt. Trey Hendrickson is great at rushing the passer, and he is a vital piece to that Cincinnati Bengals defense. I think two things are true here, though. Cincinnati overplayed their hand by not moving on from Trey earlier. You drafted Shamar Stewart. That's supposed to be his replacement. I understand not wanting to give him a ton of money. TJ Watt's reset the market. Myles Garrett has reset the market. Micah Parsons is looking to reset the market. I understand not wanting to give Trey a ton of money with him already being 30. And in my opinion, as good as Trey is, he isn't a needle mover in the same sense as TJ, Myles, and Micah. I've seen games with my own eyes, and a part of it is me being a fan of the Browns and, being in the AFC North. But I've seen games where TJ Watt has literally won Steelers football games. I've seen games where Myles Garrett has single-handedly won Browns football games. I'm also sure that Micah Parsons has, not necessarily single-handedly because, Dallas's offense has also been explosive throughout the regular season, but Micah Parsons has put his stamps on games to where it'll completely change what an offense is looking to do. While Trey Hendrickson is good and he can get after the quarterback, he's not a guy that can do that. And so for $30 million a year, like, yes, that is a steep number. And I want Trey to get paid. I've been a big fan of Trey. He got drafted by the Saints originally. I loved him coming out of Louisiana Tech, and I think he should go get paid. But this never made sense for the Bengals to re-sign him. If you knew all along you were drafting Shamar, you should have kept things quiet. You should have been like, hey, Trey, behind closed doors, we love you. We want you to be here, but we just don't. It doesn't make sense for us to pay you given your age and how bad our defense has still been, even with you out there on the field. But they overplayed their hand. Trey made it public that they were doing nothing for him and they were giving them these garbage offers. And now, Trey doesn't want to lose money by getting fined every single day that he's away from the team. But at the same time, Cincinnati is essentially up Schitt's Creek without a paddle. Like there's no way, in my opinion, there's no way that I see these two sides coming to a deal if Trey is that firm on getting the money that he feels like he deserves. And the Bengals are realistic in saying, hey, we don't want to give this amount of guaranteed money to a guy that's going to be 31 years old this year and really not that needle mover on defense like the other guys that are getting paid in that same ballpark.
Good point. Talk about a needle mover. The Washington Commanders are without Terry McLaurin right now. And if you look at the Commanders depth chart at wide receiver without Terry McLaurin, that is not a wide receiver room that I would be thrilled to open the season with. Terry McLaurin's got the amount of leverage he needs in this situation, and it's very obvious. It's very obvious. He has been a soldier for bad quarterback after bad quarterback after bad quarterback. You get him a good quarterback with Jaden Daniels, and he has a career year. It's his time to get paid. Washington has the money. They have a quarterback on a rookie deal. I don't understand how this hasn't got done yet.
I don't disagree with any of that. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago, and that was the same stance I took on it. And you definitely can't leave him in the wind after you trade to bring a guy in like Debo. He wants his money. And to Gene's point, he's one of those guys that has one of the best case ever to sit there with ownership and say, I've earned my money. With the slot they've thrown back there to throw him the ball for the better part of his career, and he still puts up numbers. And on top of that, you got a guy that, by all intents and purposes, looks like you finally found your guy in a franchise quarterback in Jane Daniels. Why would you want to take his number one option away? It just doesn't make any sense. Pay him, get him in camp before this becomes an even bigger thing than it is. And get ready for the regular season. It's kind of like the Micah thing in Gene's regard, though. Like, if it drags on, past when we play them, I'm fine with it. But I think this will get done. This will get done sooner than later, unfortunately, for an Eagles fan.
I think there's $75 million in cap next year.
That's the thing. That is quite literally the point right there. I don't know why you don't pay him, and you could give him you got Jaden in the first round. His rookie year was last year. You give him a 4-year deal because you're going to pick up Jaden's 5th year. So you got 4 years to really play with before you really have to pay the piper. So I think it's one of those things where, Washington is just being stubborn, and I get it. Terry McLaurin, just like I was talking about with Trey, Terry McLaurin is going to be 29. Like, he's 29 right now. So he's going to be going into 30, and I get it. Paying a receiver at 34, like, not necessarily the best thing in the world there, but you have to think like that gives you a true championship window of 4 years. Like, you have a window wide open from right now until you have to pay Jaden Daniels. That's not to say that's going to close afterwards. You just kind of, reconfigure the team there. So why not keep what you have and what this connection works. Makes no sense to not get this deal done. And even if you overpay for him, I remember a few years ago when we were talking about the Jacksonville Jaguars and they went out in free agency and overpaid Christian Kirk. And we were talking about like how he got, too much money and this and that. What it did was gave Trevor Lawrence a true number one option, and they went out and made the playoffs, and they gave the Chiefs a hell of a game in the division around there as well. this is a very similar thing, but you already have a known commodity with a guy who was a top 10 receiver in the league, and you were just in the NFC Championship game last year. Just doesn't make sense for me that this deal isn't done yet, but I do agree with Bill that I do think this deal gets done soon because it's just too much. It just makes too much sense for it to not get done.
The crazy part is they have $75 million in cap next year. They have $290 million in cap projected for 2027. They got nobody signed. Like, they have all the money in the world. Our team's going to be scary good in 2 years. The Eagles' window is this year and next year. And then the Washington Commanders should be battling with them, like, toe-to-toe. It's a scary, scary situation. They just got to manage their money right. All right, let's move forward. Let's get a little MLB talk. Trade deadline was last week. First of all, extremely happy that the Philadelphia Phillies went out and got an absolute closer. They've needed this for years. This guy should break the Phillies' all-time saves record. He should be signed here long-term as long as his arm can hold out, throwing the ball 103 miles an hour. His entrance is electric. I was at the game Sunday night. That's awesome. The way they have lights on the MLB app. That in Red October is going to be insanity. Where I'm a little annoyed. And listen, I love that the Philadelphia Phillies went out and got a closer. And I love that they kept Painter and they kept Crawford and they kept Aiden Miller. Love that. I'm not really excited about Harrison Bader. Not really my guy. Would have much preferred a guy that gets on base. This Phillies lineup stinks. They stink. You have Schwarber, Harper, and then Turner on every other night. And then everybody else is a flip of a coin. It's just a bad lineup.
Well, I mean, to be fair, though, you say Turner every other night or whatever. Schwarber is either an MVP or a runner-up MVP guy right now.
Yes.
Harper's been playing incredible the last 3 weeks. And Trey Turner is obviously, you have your games where he plays and he doesn't play well and things like that. But in general, like as a whole, Trey Turner's been consistent. Like, you give me 3 top guys, if you can figure it out on the pitching side, like that's what you need. I get you want to round out the roster, but take it from me, Gene, as a Cleveland fan, I wish we had like 2 other guys to be with Jose, because if we did, like, I think this would be a very good bunch. You can figure it out with guys that are batting 250, and I don't know what you guys are batting in the lineup, but you can figure it out with guys that are batting 250 and 240 when you have 3 bona fide studs that can change the game with one swing of the bat.
Not disagreeing with your statement. Turner's bats 284 with a 339 OBP. I think he is not a believer in walks, or I don't understand how that works for him. But I just want them. Our expectations are different in Philadelphia than yours are in Cleveland. Our expectations are to win a World Series. And this is not a roster to win a World Series, at least a lineup. It's a pitching staff too.
So while I agree with that sentiment, like this year was never a year where I said, oh, the Guardians should win the World Series. This is a team that won the ALCS last year with the rosters they had. And I can almost assure you that if we had, let's say we had Schwarber and Harper next to J-Ram, I would say, hey, this is a team that can win the World Series without a doubt in my mind. So I get where you're coming from there with that. You have the starting pitching to do it. You have the bullpen now to do it. Those 3 guys, we know what they do when the lights are bright. I'm just saying, just because your 7, 8, 9 aren't crazy, it's not the end of the world.
I appreciate you guys doing us a favor and sweeping the Mets. So I appreciate that.
We needed it. Cutting Tigers lead. I think they're down to 6 now. That AL Central's getting interesting.
What were your thoughts on the trade deadline, Joe?
I mean, Duran was a huge piece for us. I don't hate Bader as much as you. I hate how Rob Thompson's using him. I mean, if I'm saying I don't dislike the trade as much as you.
Okay.
The inconsistencies in the way Rob Thompson manages is really starting to piss me off as a Phillies fan. It's okay to say, Bryce Hassad has 3 good games in a row, but then a lefty's coming up and we sit him. But for other situations, when he uses his bullpen, he doesn't go matchup wise. He goes by feel, and I'm tired of watching that blow up in our face and lose games. I'm starting to think he might be our biggest issue. To Cottrell's point, Bryce is starting to look like Bryce. Schwarber, I think you can make a strong argument, is the MVP of the league right now. I don't know. I think you're nitpicking if you're tearing Trey Turner's season apart. Nick Castellanos is pretty much right on par with where he is. And JT's looked a lot better in the second half so far. You take that 5 with the best pitching staff in the National League, and now you have a legitimate closer. I don't know. I understand your point in saying an inconsistencies and holes, but you could do that with every other team in the NL that's going to make the playoffs most likely, and you could poke bigger holes in all those other teams. Not saying that means the Phillies win the World Series, but there is not a complete team even close in the NL right now, at least. I mean, the Dodgers are banged up beyond belief. Mookie Betts has been, on Mookie Betts' terms, he's been terrible this year. Freeman's hurt. Shohei's cooled off significantly. They lost Muncy, and everybody after that has been a shuffle because they can't figure it out. And they've had 10 pitchers start games for them this year. And their pitching staff's still not healthy. And they were supposed to win 120 games this year. They were supposed to break every record in the book. And they're in the middle, wins-wise, they're right in the middle of the pack. There's no dominant team that if you put them in a 7-game series with the Phillies that you couldn't say the Phillies couldn't win. I'll take the pitching and, knowing that if we have a bullpen that's going to be a little bit less taxed now, knowing if you get it to the 9th inning, there's a guy there that you just got to get him the ball. I think that's a big deal. So
yeah. I would take the Mets overall roster over ours, but they've been playing like shit, so I get it. But that's just me personally.
They were talking about trading the guy who got him there last year. One of the guys that got him last year. They were trying to trade Viento at the trade deadline. I don't think their pitching staff is even close to ours.
Their starting pitchers, you're correct. Their bullpen is probably better than ours.
Okay, but
you're right about the starters though. Kodai Senga and Shaw Manaea are your 2, in my eyes, pitchers that are definitely going to pitch games 1 and 2. Outside that, I don't know what you're getting. You're not wrong saying that. David Peterson's pitched really well for them this year, but I don't see David Peterson as a blow you away guy. Kodai Senga is the only guy that's really going to go out there and give you.
That's what I mean. Like game 3, do you want Ranger or Sanchez, or do you want Peterson?
I would want Sanchez.
Yeah, I agree, and I agree with you. But that's not even close right now.
I think that Sanchez is the best pitcher in baseball right now. He's been incredible.
That's a tad much, but
listen, he's now second in Cy Young. My dark horse Cy Young guy, just going out there doing things, doing crazy shit.
I was going to say the one deal that we haven't talked about yet was the one that we kind of hinted at on the show last week, but then after they went and got Naylor, we just didn't think they were going to make a move. The Mariners going and getting Eugenio Suarez, to me, that just shows that the Mariners are all in on this upcoming year there. And I was very surprised that was the move they decided to make there. But now that lineup is the top of that lineup is hell to get through. Trying to get through those guys, especially, come playoff times, like you're hoping that you can get through the lineup 3 times there. Like I think that's going to be a tough uphill battle for whoever, draws the Mariners in the playoffs, because that lineup will absolutely rake in the postseason.
Yeah, I mean, the team is built similar to the Phillies. It's been built the last couple of years on a pitching staff, 1 through 4 starter wise. That is pretty good. And they've struggled to score runs. They've struggled to score runs in a big park. And now that offense, obviously with Julio and Cal, and now you add Suarez and Naylor, Crawford's still playing well. That's a team that if as long as they get it together and they qualify, they will be a tough out because of the way they play. They're gonna like you said, they're gonna roll a starting pitcher at you for probably 5 or 6 innings, and if they get 4 or 5 runs, they're gonna be tough to beat because they're a grinding type of team. So it's definitely an all-in move. Eugenio is back to where he started. Thought it was a big move for them. They gave up a decent amount to get him, but
that's what I wanted to bring up is what you just is they had him, and instead of paying him, they didn't want to pay him, and then they gave up a ton of prospects just to pay him, which they did do a year and a half ago. They could have just paid him.
I get it. I mean, it's the weird, it's kind of the weird thing about baseball. But I mean, at least to their fans, it's hey, we're in it to win it this year, and that's the move we made. And I mean, again, I think most Seattle fans probably would have been pretty happy with just getting Naylor. To get Naylor and Suarez, who were, like I said, the two debatable, biggest bats, at the deadline. I mean, I don't know how you can't be happy if you're a Mariners fan.
Not to mention you still have a Rosarena in the lineup too. So like that's legitimately 6 bats that can either get on base, or just kill you with the home run. So Mariners are gonna be a tough team to beat, man. Tough team to beat.
I'm looking forward to it. Any other trade deadline comments?
No, I mean, I thought it was, I thought there was still a decent amount of kind of bigger names that were moved, but I think a lot of stuff. Cleveland apparently wanted the moon and something else for Quan, which I think ultimately is why that didn't happen. Bieber getting traded, I was kind of surprised. That kind of came out of nowhere. Trying to think what else. That's really about it. I mean, again, I don't think anybody. I think you could say that the Phillies made the most significant move. That they absolutely had the one glaring hole they had. They filled it in with one of the absolute top tier guys at that position.
I agree.
So we'll see how it goes now. That's what makes baseball fun. The last 50 games are going to be real interesting.
And they gave up, in my eyes, they gave up not as much as I felt like they did really well in what they did as far as the trade goes.
I agree.
But it's no surprise. I'm not a big Mick Abel guy. Very straight pitching. He doesn't have a lot of movement on his fastball. He's young. I get it.
He is. He's young, and he has all the physical tools. And
then an 18-year-old catcher that is single A right now. So, I mean, granted, he's one of our top prospects, but he's 18. We got to see how much he develops.
Yeah, he's 18. You're probably re-signing JT, and then you still have Marchand behind him for the next however long. So, yeah. I mean, I don't think he was factoring into what the Phillies were going to do anytime soon. So
the only other thing I just wanted to kind of throw in there that we didn't talk about, Gene, one of the guys you kind of want the Phillies to go get. I thought there was a good chance that he'd get traded, but I was not expecting Mason Miller to get traded to the San Diego Padres. That was one. I mean, I think that's a move that could potentially turn out to be a big one come postseason as well. Like obviously, what the Phillies did with their bullpen and getting guy they got Mason Miller going to San Diego, like I think that could be a difference for them as well.
I mean, San Diego gave up the whole farm for him. They gave up their number one shortstop prospect. They gave up 2 of their top pitching prospects. They gave up the farm for him. I think the Padres. I didn't think that the A's would get as much for him as he got. Shally said that he was going to get a ton. I didn't think he was going to get that much.
Well, you got to remember he signed that contract last year, so I mean, you now got him. You traded for him, and you have him for the next, I think, this year plus 4, 3 or 4. So I mean, he's locked up. So it's still a haul, though, man. I mean, it's a lot for a team, honestly, in Oakland that is playing better than they were last year. But I mean, you're hoping some of those kids, maybe factor into, the opening day roster when they open that Vegas stadium in 2 years. But we'll see. But still think you would like that.
That shortstop, Leo De Reyes, he's the number 3 prospect in Major League Baseball. Not for the Padres. Like, he's going to be a big league shortstop next year. So
maybe, but yeah, it's again, they gave up a ton to get him.
All right, well, let's little ACC talk. Well, ACC action. Cottrell, you want to lead us in that?
Yeah, I mean, so
coast to coast.
Yeah, so last week we went over ACC, but with college football approaching, like I just feel like it's the perfect time to just get into a little bit of ACC discussion here. Obviously, you have your reigning conference champions in Clemson, and they return their starting quarterback, and they've been the odds-on favorite to win the ACC there. But really, just wanted to get your guys' thoughts on like who you think could potentially contend with Clemson. I guess I can go first here. I mean, I think my biggest kind of takeaways for the ACC is that Clemson, of course, is going to be the team to beat, and I ultimately have Clemson winning the conference there. But I think Miami is going to, when it's all said and done, I think Miami is going to come out and be the most overrated team in all of college football. Like, I would not be surprised if Miami is not bowl eligible at the end of the season. Like, that wouldn't surprise me one bit there. And a big part of it is Carson Beck. I'm not a huge believer in Carson Beck there, but I also think they lost a ton on offense in general. You lose your number 1 tight end in Elijah Arroyo. You lose your number 1 weapon in Xavier Restrepo. You lose Damian Martinez. Like, that's a lot of output to replace with guys that have a lot of question marks and with a quarterback that really I never thought was that good to begin with. So I'm selling on Miami there, but one of the quiet teams I think that could potentially be in the mix towards the end of the year there would be Louisville. Louisville getting quarterback Miller Moss out of the transfer portal from USC. I think that could be a big deal for them. And, just kind of looking through their schedule, we went through it on coast to coast. I think they have a favorable schedule, and their tougher games, they actually get to have them at home. So I think that could be helpful for them. You get 1 or 2 upsets, and you're looking at a Louisville team that might sneak into the conference championship game. And, depending on how stuff falls, if you only got 1 or 2 losses by then, you get into the conference championship game, maybe you weasel your way into the college football playoff. But not saying that happens, but they're definitely one of the teams that I'm looking out for this upcoming year.
I completely agree with you. I think that Louisville is the number 2 team in that conference. I just believe that. I don't think Miami's. I don't. My feelings on Carson. Not a fan.
Punchable face.
100% punchable face. I think Georgia Tech is another team to look out for. So I think that they'll be good this year. But listen, Haynes King should be their starter, right?
Absolutely.
Yep.
So I think that I just last year we did this. I prepped and I said 6 guys that were on injury, and I'm just double checking when I think he's injured too. I'm like, God damn it. One of the things I looked at, and I'm not saying that they'll make the ACC championship game, and with the roster turnover, it's insane. But UNC is like one of the easiest schedules in all college football. I think they're going to be a factor. I actually think they finish around 500 or higher. And I think good coaching, I think they'll play good defense for Bill Belichick. I honestly think UNC will be higher than Miami. I know that's crazy. I understand that. But Louisville, Georgia Tech are my two teams to knock off Clemson. Ultimately, I think Clemson wins the ACC, though.
Real quick here before you go, one thing I just wanted to just kind of throw in there because I sent it to Alex and Bill earlier. It's funny you say that about North Carolina. Their over-under for their win total is at 7.5. So Vegas thinks that North Carolina might, crash some parties there and, really make it interesting down the stretch there. A lot of people, they're the third most bet on team for people. People are smashing the under, but that could be very interesting. And it's funny you bring that up because we talked about it last week there on Coast to Coast, but their schedule is very light. So I'm with you. They could really throw a monkey wrench in this thing as well.
I'm glad when I bring up something that's relevant in college football when I'm talking to you guys. I feel like I'm talking to I don't know, man. I was looking at schedules and North Carolina's schedule just didn't seem like it was a really tough schedule.
It's not.
It is not. They have a very easy schedule. I think this over under 7.5 is telling in that I agree with both of you. I think they probably beat somebody down the stretch they're not supposed to. But I would think early in the season there might be, I don't want to call them growing pains, but listen, you pretty much overhaul the entire team, coaching staff. I think they're probably going to lose their game or two at the beginning of the season that maybe they're not supposed to. But again, I think they'll be dangerous down the stretch. I agree with Cottrell. I think Miami's just replacing a lot. They don't have an easy schedule. And I think I think they have the potential. We talked about this on the show. They could be halfway through their season sitting at 500, and it could get ugly fast. I think Clemson is by far the class of the ACC this year. I think they're one of the top 4 or 5 teams in the country. I think they're going to be very, very good. I think it's Clemson and everybody else. I think North Carolina is probably a year or two away, but I think that team will get good very quick with Belichick there, assuming he stays. I don't know, all this false bravado and all this confidence coming out of Tallahassee of a team that won 2 games last year, opening with Alabama. I'm going to need to see that before I buy into the Seminoles. And then Gene brought up my sleeper, which is Georgia Tech. I love Haynes King. I think that team has a lot of grit. They have a decent amount of starters back on both sides of the ball. I will be very curious to see where they slot in over the course of the year. So I think the ACC will be entertaining because I think it's going to be a lot of, there'll be a lot of upsets, and there's going to be a lot of. I think we had 3 or 4 teams when it was all said and done, like at 9-3. With Louisville being one of them. I just think there's going to be a lot of them that are, they're going to kind of do what the Big 12 did last year. They're going to eat each other. And I think Clemson is just going to hang out there at the top by themselves. So, but I think it'll be a better year for the ACC this year than it was last year. I'll say that. I think it's a little bit more of a rebound year. And now with a legitimate, North Carolina, you're hoping becoming legitimate again. Georgia Tech, Louisville, a lot of people like Virginia Tech. Alex likes Virginia Tech this year. I think that overall that conference is starting to head back in the right direction again.
I just want to bring something up because we were talking about schedules, and you're right about the ACC. I just think it's hilarious, and we'll talk about the Big Ten as we get closer. But did you guys see Penn State's non-conference schedule?
I have not.
They don't leave Happy Valley until October. Yeah. And the funniest part is they scheduled Villanova.
It's funny because around here, that's like the game everybody's trying to get tickets for. And all the Penn State people are like, yeah, I'll sell the tickets to that game. That game's over before they kick the ball off. Like that's the game everybody's getting tickets for. So it's
their non-conference schedule is Nevada, FIU, and Villanova, all at Happy Valley.
There's, I mean, listen, listen. It's
no reason to leave Happy
good.
Valley for those games.
No, but I would say this: their fourth game is that Oregon game, I believe. So
it's at home.
I know it's home, but my point
is the whiteout.
is,
I already mentioned it.
It is the whiteout. It's that they released that a couple weeks ago. My point being, you're not going to have a true sense of what that team is based upon those first 3 games.
You're right. So
if there's holes that you're not seeing because those teams aren't exploiting them, Oregon's going to. So it's, those are 3 games. Hey, get reps, get through them, get healthy, be 3-0, probably be outscoring your opponents 140 to 13, some obscure shit. But it's that being said, I think it doesn't always work well when you go cupcake, and then all of a sudden, it's not like it's not like oh, hey, it's Nebraska. Like, okay, we got to turn it up a little bit. But if we play a B game, we win comfortably. All of a sudden, it's oh no, we're playing with the top 7-8 teams in the country. Yeah. So that's interesting to me, and I hate to say it, but how does James Franklin play into that game? And we have not released our rankings, but I will tell you, Penn State is very, very, very high on my list. So that could backfire for them. That's all I'll say.
We play Oregon the week after they play Oregon State,
which that helps because that's I don't care how you slice it, it's a rivalry game, so it's a little bit of an emotional letdown, and you're going from you're going across the country, so there's a lot of factors at play there, and it's going to be a whiteout, so it will be a hostile environment.
It's fair.
Where's Oregon State at?
In Oregon.
Never mind.
Looking for the white hot. I'm looking for the whiteout to play its role.
It will. It always does. But it's
against Washington and against those schools, of course it does. Minnesota.
They ran by us last year. They ran by us. We have to make sure defensively that they're not running by us. That was the problem last year. They were
Charles more referencing that you guys have kind of ducked the whiteout game.
We have.
Which I don't get because it got to where it is now because of the Ohio State stuff and you guys having upsets, and then you lose like one of them, and then it's like, nah, we're gonna play we're gonna play Minnesota for our whiteout
Northwestern
game now.
Well,
to make sure we don't lose. And I'm just like,
gotta get a win. Gotta get a win. All right, let's get into you gotta be kidding me, gentlemen.
All right, so this week for me, I didn't know if we were gonna get into it during the show or not. But I got one that I'm not a big fan of. I'm rolling with ESPN, the National Football League. So they announced their non-binding agreement where ESPN will be acquiring the NFL Network, other media assets, including the Red Zone channel, NFL Fantasy, and more, in exchange for a 10% equity stake in ESPN. One reason why I hate this is, the commercial-free 7 hours of football. ESPN is going to ruin that. They're going to throw ads in there and get all the revenue that they can get off of that. So that part of it's not going to be the same. The other part of it that I just don't comprehend, at least at this point, the NFL is getting a 10% equity stake in ESPN. Well, if I'm not mistaken, ESPN also runs ESPN Bet. ESPN also runs like all these things, like ESPN Bet specifically, where you're putting together parlays and things like that. And you already have people that have their tinfoil hat about the league being rigged and things like that. So now you're telling me the NFL is going to be profiting off of people when they lose their bets on the NFL. Yeah, that just does not sit right with me absolutely at all. So This week for me, the NFL and ESPN ultimately making this deal for this merger.
Come on, you gotta be kidding me.
I love that. That was a great. You got to be kidding me.
There's no way they don't ruin Red Zone. None.
They're gonna ruin Red Zone 100%. And if they get rid of, if they get rid of Scott Hansen, I'm rioting.
I don't think you can get rid of him, but he's not going to be on there by himself. That's all I'm going to say.
Here's another
Stephen
million.
A. Smith.
I said this earlier.
They're going to have Stephen A. Smith on there yelling. They'll have Mina Kimes on there screaming. Dude, if that's what they do, I don't think they understand how fast people are going to turn it off.
For what it's worth, I do like Mina Kimes. For what it's worth.
I'll say this. I think ESPN could save a ton of money. They stop paying millions of dollars to ex-professional athletes to say ludicrous shit on air. It's terrible. Listen, pay me.
Thanks.
I'm entertaining. Put me on there. You don't have to pay me anywhere near $1 million. I'll take $350,000.
We missed the Jay Harris. We missed the Stuart Scotts. Like, get journalists, make journalists a thing again.
Correct. Shally.
I'm going Little League Baseball.
Oh yeah. Let's go. Let's do it.
So, regional final, Oklahoma was an elimination game.
Yeah, it was.
Team from Oklahoma gets caught cheating, tipping pitches blatantly. Blatantly. This is annoying to me for one reason. Little League is not where you should be teaching these kids. If you want to call it gamesmanship, if that's what you want to do, Little League is like the purest form of baseball.
Yep.
Like, these kids don't play the game the right way. You know, that you see kids get hurt, and the kid that hurts them by accident cries, and like they're hugging each other. Like, kid makes a great play. You know, they run across the diamond on the way back to the dugout and give them a high five. Like, it is everything that is perfect and right and pure with baseball. This team by Oklahoma is run by a guy that is clearly trying to reminisce his glory days, and is just he is the quintessential coach that so many parents don't want for their kids. They have kids on second base giving signs to the batter if it's a fastball or not. They get called out by the other team. The umpires apparently don't give the warnings correctly. They throw the Oklahoma coach out. Then he protests, saying that he didn't get warned properly, so they can't throw him out. They then confer, let the coach come back, and then the kids get caught cheating again after that.
Oh, no, Charlie, it was 3 times.
Okay, well, regardless, the game ends with the kid from Oklahoma hitting a walk-off home run to win. How the coach from the other team never protests this game is beyond me. I just don't understand where the hell his head was. Is buried in the sand somewhere. But again, there's right way, there's wrong ways to do everything. We talk about that on the show all the time in regards to a lot of sports and a lot of different topics and a lot of different things. You know, stealing signs the right way is a part of baseball, always has been. But it's more for upper level stuff. When you have kids on second base giving obvious signs that everybody that's watching knows what's going on, and you make the kids kind of a part of your narrative and kind of use them as pawns in the whole situation, that is what I have a problem with. There's already been a bunch of letters and protests about not letting this team play. I don't know what's going to happen. If they somehow get to the Little League World Series, everybody's going to root against these kids. And I think that is the part that they're not prepared for, and that will ruin it for the kids. And that'll be the sad part. So I don't ever want to sit on here and root against a 12-year-old team to lose and not make it to Williamsport. But at the same time, I don't want to see those kids kind of realize a dream and go there and be called cheaters and have to answer questions because their coach told them to do things they shouldn't be doing yet. So for this week, it's Oklahoma Little League Baseball for me.
Come on, you gotta be kidding me.
Well, what makes that even worse is that, so obviously they get called 3 times or whatever. You have the fans that are at the game, they're chanting and taunting these kids like, you can't do that. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this is just a shit show. Like,
The
this
worst
game
part was
is
they had to get on the
100%
PA.
out of control.
They had to get on the PA and say, "Stop taunting 12-year-olds."
Yeah, they're like, yeah, this. Like, remember where you're at. You know, you're watching kids play baseball here. I'm like, oh, this is a nightmare.
I thought he was going to bring up the head first slide. That's what I thought. You were going to talk about.
I knew he was. As soon as he said it, I thought about the Oklahoma.
I thought about the head first slide thing. Do you know what I'm talking about, Joe?
No.
They it ended a game because you're not in Little League World Series.
Yeah, you're not allowed to dive head first. Yeah.
You can dive back to a base, but you can't dive head first.
Correct.
So it was a 2-1 game, and there's runners on first and third. They did delayed steal to try to get put in a pickle so the run can tie the game. The kid basically got around the second baseman and head first dove in the second, like to be safe, and it happened to be the third out of the game because they obviously can't head first slide, and a bunch of people were calling them out. I'm like, that's the rule. Like it's a dumb rule, but it's the rule. So I was going to say I didn't agree if that you were using that. Mine this week is something that's been all over, TV, and I don't understand it. And I'm one of anybody else that will make fun and have fun. Like the "let her cook" vibe was probably not the best slogan for the WNBA. Going to be honest. I felt like it was a terrible, but I'm also always for women's sports. I'm also always for doing the right things. And these morons in Chicago, Atlanta, and LA that are throwing sex toys on the court, it's got to stop. You're not funny. It's not humorous. It is not like something that we should be going around doing. Like, there are families at these events. Get cameras. I would put out a press release and say, we're going to put you on a list if you get caught. There's children there. I'm sure you can prosecute these guys throwing sex toys on the court as sexual predators and put them on a list. And it'll stop it immediately. Nobody wants to get put on that list. So knock it off. Stop it. And if you're the WNBA, you need to be working with the fullest extent of the law to get cameras, to get people to snitch, to get these people arrested and be, prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. It's got to stop. Knock it off. Last night, they threw a dildo at Sophie Cunningham. Kelsey Plum kicked it off the court. And then they're being asked to get in the post-game press conference. LA gets a huge 100-91 win, and they're asking about sex toys being thrown on the court. Like, knock it the hell off. So for that, this week, the morons doing that shit.
Come on, you gotta be kidding me.
Second week in a row, it's had to get used. Like, it's crazy. Like, why does this keep happening?
Yeah. I'm rooting for Johnstown, PA, baby. Little League World Series, Johnstown, PA.
That time of year, that'll be on us very quickly.
I haven't kept up with it much, so like I don't know what we're looking at. Like I really don't, but I know Johnstown, PA made it. So
everything else, all the regionals and stuff, will all be this week and this weekend. So
8-4
game I've seen, like all the way through was Oregon Washington, which was a really good game.
I know we play the Midwest in the qualifier. So
I think it was the Texas team, was an out away from the same Texas team that made it last year to getting back this year. And they were facing, I think the kid hitting wasn't like a big hitter, and they brought their outfielder in left field, and they had 2 guys on. He just hit a ball dead over his head, and the kid hit it infield the park, home run to walk it off to eliminate them. Little League's so great. I know people that go every single year.
It's a fun time.
It is. If you've never been there, go. It's a cool little town, and it literally everything the 2 weeks it's there revolves around that tournament. It's so cool. It's so much fun.
The defending Little League World Series with one strike away, Lake Mary, Florida. Of course, Bo's know that.
Maybe that's what it was. Maybe that was Texas. Maybe it was Florida.
Yeah, it was Florida. Yeah, I looked it up when you were saying it because I didn't know that. But they lost on Tuesday, was it? Or today? Was it today? Today.
Today, yeah. I don't know if it was today or yesterday, but it's probably today.
But looking forward to it. Looking for a Little League World Series. Do want to send another shout out to Shally on his birthday. My mom had her birthday. Gloria Walzak. Ashley Kaler. Supports the show a ton. Buys a hoodie every time we sell them. So I want to do special shout outs to those three people. Anybody else have any final comments?
Normally you pass to me. I was gonna give Bill the birthday shout out, but now I just gotta echo your sentiments. Bill, happy birthday. Another year older. Depending on what you say this upcoming week on Coast to Coast, I don't know if I can say another year wiser yet. Depending on what your take is on the Big Ten preview show. I don't know if I can say another year wiser, but hope you had a great time and keep moving forward.
I've been pretty spot on the last 2 years. I'm just saying.
Look, we know Charlie's starting to get senile, so let's not make fun of him in his old age.
Fair.
Bro, you like Cottrell could say that. Like
I got more gray hair than him.
Facts. You're like me and Cottrell are like in different towns. Me and you were like 2 blocks apart, buddy.
One of us is in their 20s, one of us is in their 30s, and one of us is in their 40s. Let's just make that very clear.
for about 2 more months.
For about 2 more months.
Yeah, knock that off. I got 2 months and 20 days. By the way, somebody tag Gloria Walzak in the chat. I'll be expecting my surprise party. Thank you guys for tuning in this week, Wire2Wire Sports Podcast. Shai, anything final comments?
No, I mean, I appreciate all the birthday love from everybody. Bunch of people from believe it or not, from watching our show or even Coast to Coast, actually reached out and messaged me. So that was actually something a little different this year, which was really cool. So Justin Louder hit me up like 7 o'clock in the morning. It's like 4 o'clock his time. I don't know what the hell he was doing awake, but that side, again, all the fans, all the listeners, that was a really cool thing for me. It was very appreciative. And, everybody else, Gene, I think texted me twice, tried to call me 7 times. It's always a good day to feel loved when people reach out, and especially people you don't talk to most of the year, but still take time out of the day to either text you or call you. So it was a good day, and it ended with a really a good win last night. So it was a really good day.
We won one for old Gipper.
We did.
Now, shout out to big at bat, couple big at bats. But all right, well, thank you guys for listening this week, Wire2Wire Sports Podcast. I'm the NFL Genius Gene Walls. I got Kent State's own, Cleveland's own, College Trail, Uncle Shally, Scholastic Shally, Mr. William Shawcross, and we are signing out.